Chinese maker CFMOTO is coming of age, with this CFMOTO 700CL-X Heritage representing the brand's first full-power, non-lambs model to go on sale in Australia. Let's take a closer look. Under the guidance of Aussie distributor Mojo Motorcycles, CFMOTO has made a name for itself as a value-packed learner bike brand. But that focus will now broaden with the arrival of the neo-retro 700CL-X Heritage. The Heritage is actually the first of 3 700CL-X models, with the 700CL-X Sport due in Aussie showrooms from late September and the 700CL-X Adventure due here towards the end of 2021. And don't forget the all-new CFMOTO 800MT, an adventure bike available in both sport and touring variants, due to hit Aussie showrooms in the very near future. Historically, Chinese automotive products have been regarded as cheap, but also perhaps with a bit of a question mark hanging over their reliability, their longevity and their resale value. But that has been changing in recent years in both the car and bike worlds, and this 700CL-X Heritage is a great case in point. The overall finish and build quality on offer here is actually pretty darn good, and with full LED lighting, electronic cruise control, KYB suspension, Continental ABS brakes and Pirelli rubber, this 700CL-X Heritage isn't left wanting for features or big name components. Held in this chromoly tubular frame is an all-new 693cc parallel twin engine. With fuel injection and an electronic throttle with 2 distinct ride modes, the unit produces a good amount of easily accessible urge. That grunt is then relayed to the rear Pirelli MT60RS dual-purpose tyre via a 6-speed transmission and a slipper clutch. And ergonomically, it's sorted. The cockpit is on the compact side, especially for taller riders, but the seat height is low and the saddle is nicely sculpted, with just a short stretch to this broad handlebar. Up front is a 75mm diameter LCD instrument display with all the usual info, along with a trip computer with features like actual and average fuel consumption, but no range to empty feature. The LED lighting package looks pretty trick, and it comes with an auto headlight function. There's also a USB outlet located under the seat, but in what seems like a bizarre oversight, there's no storage space for a phone. The styling is unique and really quite distinctive. I particularly like the LED lighting and especially this tidy tail section, along with the chunky look of the dual sport rubber. As for safety, there's no traction control, but you do get the ABS system from Continental. The 41mm KYB fork is fully adjustable, while the KYB monoshock is adjustable for preload and rebound, and all the various adjusters are easy to get to. As a naked Neo Retro, so far it's ticking plenty of boxes. So now let's get out on the road and see how this thing rides. This compact little middleweight gets along really very nicely. Eco mode's essentially a rain mode for me. Its output and response really quite subdued. But in sport mode, there's no shortage of get up and go, and it's all to a soundtrack of a really quite fruity exhaust. There's reasonable mid-range urge, but it pulls hard through a spirited top end, until a rev limiter calls time at 9,500 RPM. And the suspension holds up its end of the deal well too. The rear is perhaps a touch harsh over broken ground, but generally speaking, the 700CL-X Heritage holds a line nicely through the bends. The brakes are perfectly capable, although I do think I prefer a twin disc setup up front. That's standard on the 700CL-X Sport, so we'll have to wait just a bit longer to assess the performance boost it brings. But on the whole, this is a fun and feisty little naked bike. It's eager to rev and a hoot to throw around in the twisties. And it's pretty economical too, although its tiny 13-litre tank delivers a fairly modest safe range of around 220 kilometres. Any faults? A few. The switchgear feels a little cheap and doesn't offer any feedback to let you know you've actually activated something. Our test bike's electronic cruise control indicator wasn't working properly, so there was no visual alert that cruise control was actually active. And the self-cancelling indicators are basic, switching off after a set period of time regardless of the situation, which was often too early. But on the whole, this is an impressive middleweight package with plenty of features for a razor-sharp price. Add in a 3-year factory warranty when serviced through the authorised dealer network, and this 700CL-X heritage proves, I think, that CFMOTO really is a brand to watch.